Welcome back to New Rockstars, I'm Erik Voss, and I think I figured out what Marvel's really planning for this Vision Quest series coming in the next year, and the way they're going to connect a family tree lineage from Billy and Tommy to Tony Stark through multiple generations of AI that's going to blow all of our minds. The familial connections from Tony and his father Howard down to the various AI assistants Tony Stark created that became Ultron and Vision and their housemates that we're going to meet in corporeal form in Vision Quest, to the way magic interfered with his technology to form Billy and Tommy, who might be in the first wave of mutants in the Mutant Saga. I think this family tree could be what connects everything in the MCU. So in this video, I'm going to break down this family tree to explain how this could all work. We have so many great holiday gift options available exclusively on our merch store, nerdriot.shop, which is having a huge holiday sale all month long, kicking off with a buy one, get one 50% off deal. Also, Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals coming soon. Grabbing a holiday gift from Nerd Riot is the best way to support us. Thank you so much. So Vision Quest is the Marvel series I'm most looking forward to coming next year, sometime in 2026, with its first footage shown at New York Comic Con. We actually broke it down in this video, but one thing that intrigued me about the footage that was described was the focus on family. How we're gonna see housemate human forms of all the AI assistants Tony Stark has made over the years. There's the White Vision, played by Paul Bettany, the awoken form made out of Vision's corpse, who dueled Hex Vision in the WandaVision final episode. James Spader will be playing Ultron in the flesh. Henry Lewis is playing Dumb E, and Jonathan Sayers playing You, the two speechless lab assistants Tony used to help build his Gen 1 Iron Man armor in the first Iron Man film. James Darcy is playing Jarvis, who was the first voice assistant that Paul Bettany voiced in the earlier Marvel films. It stands for Just a Rather Very Intelligent System, also named after Edwin Jarvis, Howard Stark's driver from Avengers Endgame, and before that, the Agent Carter series, where he was played by James Darcy there too. Orla Brady is playing Friday, the new replacement AI that Tony Stark started using in Age of Ultron when Jarvis turned into Vision. Emily Hampshire is playing Edith, the new AI that Tony programmed into the Stark glasses that he bequeathed to Peter Parker in Spider-Man Far From Home, standing for Even Dead, I'm the Hero. Tania Miller is playing Jo Costa, who in the comics is Ultron's wife, who turns against him and joins the Avengers. But Jo Costa is already MCU canon. When Tony first pulled Friday out of his drawer in Age of Ultron, underneath it in that same drawer was another drive labeled Jo Costa. In Vision Quest, we're gonna see these human forms of AI all occupying a house together, kind of like a family, and some kind of digital projection of their AI reality. The family theme in Vision Quest also came from the final line of the trailer, as a bearded James Spader Ultron stands alongside Paul Bettany Vision, looking at Vision's son Tommy, played by Ruri Malika, a speedster caught on CCTV footage, and Ultron claps Vision on the back and says, "Mazel tov, it's a boy." So to get a visual of this, let's break down the family tree here, starting with Tony Stark, born on May 29, 1970, son of Howard Stark and Maria Stark. Howard Stark was born August 15, 1917 to a Howard Stark Sr., who was a fruit seller in New York City, described as using a belt to abuse his son. All of this came from Howard's backstory in Agent Carter, and since James Darcy is coming back to play a form of Jarvis on the show, I'm comfortable maintaining all of this as canon. Tony engineered a series of robotic creations, and for the purposes of this family tree, we're gonna call all of those his children. I guess just produced asexually, because I'm telling you, the sexual stuff was happening upstairs, not down here in the workshop. So these creations include Dummy, You, and Jarvis. When we get to Avengers Age of Ultron in 2015, Jarvis was now being used to power the Iron Legion drones, but to perfect that global security initiative, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner joined their intellects to create Ultron. So Ultron, it was kind of Tony and Bruce's baby, you could say. Then Ultron went rogue and started building his own synthezoid replacement body using the Mind Stone and a vibranium-infused human tissue. The Avengers regained control of this body, and Bruce and Tony reprogrammed the body to run on the original OS of Jarvis. The end product was Vision. So you kind of get Ultron plus what was Jarvis plus some tinkering by their dads is how you get Vision. So in a sense, Ultron was kind of Vision's biological father, using the recycled soul of Jarvis, with Bruce and Tony being the kind of geneticists or OBGYNs or the sperm donors, who knows? But since Ultron did most of the original engineering for what would become Vision, I'm calling it. Ultron, you are the father. Beyond Vision, there were other AI offspring that Tony created, including Friday, Jo Costa, Karen. We left out Karen initially, but Karen was the first AI that powered Peter Parker's suit in Spider-Man Homecoming, and then Edith. There was also like the Veronica stuff, you know, the drone deployer that gave us the Hulkbuster armor. We can add that too. Now during the blip, Tony Stark married Pepper Potts and made a kid the old-fashioned way, which gave us Morgan Stark. Ultron is Morgan's half-sibling. Morgan is kind of Vision's aunt. Today's video is sponsored by Tingly. The holidays are coming up, and I want to give the people in my life I care about gifts for the holidays. It's so satisfying to give somebody the perfect gift. I want them to have that experience of unwrapping a present, anticipating what's inside. What I don't want is for them to have to start 2026 off figuring out what stuff they have to get rid of in order to make room for all the stuff they got. Tingly solves that problem. Tingly lets you give stories, not stuff. Tingly is a unique gifting solution, an experienced gift gift voucher beautifully packaged in a gift box. It gives your loved ones the freedom to choose from thousands of incredible experiences across the United States and around the world. Tingly has over 150,000 experiences across the US and worldwide. There's everything from adrenaline fixes like bungee jumping to chiller outings like hot air balloon rides and spa treatments. Plus, since e-vouchers for experiences can arrive within seconds, Tingly is perfect for last-minute gifting or spontaneous treats. Booking an experience is so easy. Producer Zach took a bike tour of Elysian Park he got via a Tingly box and had an amazing time. Get the exclusive Black Friday Tingly deal. Use code Rockstars for 33% off all experience and hotel gift boxes at tingly.com/newrockstars. That's TINGGLY.com/newrockstars. With WandaVision, this family tree gets further complicated. The original Vision was destroyed by Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. Wanda Maximoff, out of her grief, aka love persevering, for Vision, created the new Hex Vision using her chaos magic. With that Hex Vision, she produced two twin sons, Hex Billy and Hex Tommy. Meanwhile, Sword took the original Vision's remains and, using some siphoned Wanda magic, rebuilt and repowered these parts into White Vision. White Vision and Hex Vision battled, and then Hex Vision restored all of White Vision's memories, which include flashes of events going back to Age of Ultron. We also know from Paul Bettany at New York Comic Con that this Vision will have some memories of what happened inside the Westview Hex during WandaVision. So even though Hex Vision disappeared when the Hex collapsed, the memories of his whole existence remain stored as backups within White Vision. We don't know what White Vision remembers as a memory programmed into him versus a memory he himself experienced, but based on Mazel Tov, It's a Boy, Vision Quest is going to explore this parentage to Billy and Tommy. So I'm calling it. White Vision, you are the father. But even that parentage is just a complicated matter, because those sons began as manifestations of Wanda's chaos magic within the Hex that, when the Hex collapsed, sought out bodies of boys who were dying or dead in that moment. Billy Kaplan, a kid from Eastview, New Jersey who died in a car accident, and Tommy Shepard, a kid somewhere else who was being bullied and drowned. So technically those kids had genealogical parentage fully separate from these parents, but their identities as we know them were products of the chaos magic from Wanda and Hex Vision, and the memory of their birth and childhood remains in White Vision and Vision Quest. So that means when it comes to Billy and Agatha, or Tommy in this upcoming series, their paternal grandfather would be Ultron, or another way of looking at it is that they have paternal grandfathers and maybe great-grandfathers in Tony Stark and Bruce Banner. Fatherhood is certainly a messy thing in the MCU, the universe of found fathers often declaring things like, he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. But what does that mean for these two boys to be grandsons of Ultron? What does it mean to be a descendant of chaos magic and a descendant of Stark code, especially when you consider that the ultimate source of both strands of that artificial intelligence was the Mind Stone? That's what gave the Ultron programming the divine spark to make him truly sentient, the Mind Stone. And it was also the Mind Stone that enhanced Wanda's abilities to unlock her chaos magic. So I really do think that Vision Quest is going to be a series that explores artificial superintelligence that spawned from the brightest minds of humanity, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, using the divine cosmic power of an Infinity Stone, and how that ultimately resulted in the first two flesh and blood life forms that were born out of that code. Wiccan and Speed have an uncertain mutant status in the Marvel Comics, especially when the Scarlet Witch was kind of retconned away from being Magneto's daughter. There are little hints here and there, but Marvel Comics seems to be largely skirting the issue of their mutanthood. But with Kamala Khan, Marvel Studios seems very okay with reestablishing certain young characters as mutants. And some of the latest rumors going around about Marvel Studios' X-Men film is that Marvel is just gonna go with the simple route and establish that it really was just a snap, the cosmic radiation released by the Infinity Stones that created mutants in the MCU to make them live up to the original moniker that's been coming back in recent comics as the X-Men being the children of the atom. Maybe children of the atom will even be a phrase uttered by Ultron when talking about Tommy and Billy in Vision Quest. As grandsons or great-grandsons of Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, descendants of AI, an Infinity Stone, chaos magic, and maybe even an X gene, it's just gonna be a messy family tree that ultimately bears this mutant fruit. Comment down below with your thoughts on this, and a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Paulo Bianca, for supporting us at the executive producer level. Big thanks to Studio Tech Brian Kim, New Rockstars editors Joshua Stephen Hurd and Abby Freel, and supporting editor Aaron Carrion for helping out with this video. Follow me at Erik Voss and subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.